Hello and welcome to our review of the second AEW All In from Wembley Stadium 2024. It's a couple of weeks overdue, but we've had a lot of wrestling going on in the last couple of weeks from both sides of the fence, and it's getting a bit tricky, but today we're going to do this. Along with later, after this stream, we're going to be doing our predictions for All Out, and then the Bash in Berlin stuff will happen next weekend or whatever. We'll sort it out. But before we talk about the show, I do have to make an amendment about the predictions. I made a mistake because I forgot the results of SummerSlam and I was thinking of Money in the Bank. So you won the predictions from this show, but it was not for the title. You won the number one contendership, which you then challenged for a Bash in Berlin, and then you won the title.
I had two very good weeks.
So you are the champion, but it wasn't on this show. It wasn't at Wembley. It was in. It was actually on the other side of World War. It was on the other side of World War II, is where you won it. Anyway, but regardless, we'll talk about that when we get to Bash in Berlin, because that's where it's relevant. Which means that when we do the timelines all fucked up now, but when we do the All Out predictions after this stream, I will be challenging you for the title.
Yes,
yeah.
And then when we do the Bash in Berlin review, I'll either be champion or not, so it might not matter. So it's all very, very wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, it is
at the moment.
Yeah, but then by the time we get to Bad Blood, it'll all be evened out.
Yeah, and then there won't be a pay-per-view every week.
yeah, it's not like
this happens every time during this time of year. It's always the summer that seemingly
it's not
has
like, well, the most extreme it ever got was 2000, because there was a pay-per-view almost every weekend of that year from the three big companies.
Yeah,
because the WWF had like 12, WCW had about 12, and then ECW had, well, like 6. That's about 30 pay-per-views in 52 weeks, which is unbelievable. That's like insane.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yep. Anyway, so All in Wembley 2024. Now, a bit of a thing. I've actually not watched all of the pre-show. I haven't watched the matches. I didn't get time to. I missed my time to wake up to watch the show live. So when I got up, I didn't want to see any spoilers on YouTube, so I just started the show from the main card. But I have seen one of the big moments that happened on the pre-show, but we'll get to that because that happens at the end of the pre-show. But basically, you can be my expert because you were there in person.
I was, but it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about in detail stuff on stuff that I thought was just okay, then we might struggle just a bit.
Well, Private Party cut a promo.
They did.
Yeah.
They said, "Hi, we're at All In." Yeah.
And then there was
legit what they said.
And then there was an absolutely enormous tag team match with like the Satnam Singh Jay Lethal team versus the Brits.
Yes, so much so from where I was sitting, I was pretty low down this time this year compared to last year where I was in the bottom section, not on the floor, but I was in the bottom section of the seats at the back. So I was pretty elevated so I could see the whole ring last year. This time I was a lot lower, so I pretty much saw the ring at just level. So there being a lot of wrestlers around the ring during the tag, you could hardly see inside the actual ring. And you know what fucking sucks about where I was sitting, and for half of the stadium, is that our side didn't have a fucking screen in front of us. We had to keep looking behind us throughout the entire show to see what people were actually seeing on camera. Literally half of the arena didn't have a screen to look at. They had to look at the one behind us that was built into the stadium. Well done, AEW. You brought two screens on the other side for parts of the arena, like the other half would see it, but it's on two different sides. It was so weird throughout the entire night, seeing everybody just look behind them to see what the fuck was going on if something wasn't inside the ring throughout the entire show.
I wonder if they just forgot the third screen.
I think they just brought two. I think they thought two was fine, and they made an executive decision because we were looking towards the rampway, so we could see the ramp, which is really cool. But we didn't have a screen because we had to keep looking behind us throughout the entire show,
Yeah.
which was fun but bad on my neck.
Also, I do want to say, I said versus the Brits. Half of the babyface team is American, so.
Yeah, it's actually just more of a mixture.
They had a bit in the match where it was Satnam Singh and Leo Rush, which is they're very mismatched. Yep, I don't know because I haven't seen the match. So what was it? Was it good?
It was a tag match. It was a big tag match, and it happened.
Big clusterfuck.
I think the best part of the match, from what I remember, was Leo Rush against fucking what's his name? His name just escaped me. Big
Satnam
fucking
Singh.
tall lad.
Satnam Singh.
Satnam Singh. Yeah, there you go.
I just mentioned that.
That was pretty. Oh, did you? Sorry.
Yeah.
That was probably the best part of the match.
Did you crank your neck so hard that your ears just blew or something?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. But that was legitimately the best part of the match. That actually was entertaining, and everything else was just like sort of just spots until the
Too many guys.
it ended.
There was just looks like there was just too many guys in the match.
It was, yeah, it was.
So then we had Willow and Ishii versus Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. How did this go?
Mm-hmm. This was fun. Stokely was probably the best part of the match when he went up against Ishii. Like him, no selling. I can't remember what move he did, but he hit him with a move, and then Ishii just no sold it, and it was really fun. It was really fun. Stokely is entertaining. His whole gear was an entrance was just insane. He came out. I can't remember what the like. I guess the imagery was. But it was just very fun. It was very over the top and very fun.
I would assume if I were to take a guess, I'd assume C-3PO because C-3PO.
No, I think it's if. It looked Egyptian from what I remember, but I might be completely wrong. It wasn't something like pop culture. It was like something
high culture then,
if I can remember. But it's not. It wasn't pop culture.
Okay, I was just thinking that because he's gold and it's in the UK, so there you go.
No, he was just in all gold. Yeah,
we will get to pop culture attires later in the show, though. There was a lot of those.
Yeah, there was a lot of those. Actually, funny little thing that I saw from where I was sitting, I could see where a bunch of people were going for the pre-show panel because they actually were outside this year compared to last year where they were just in some room, like in a punditry room that other sports use. They were actually outside, and I could actually legitimately I couldn't see any of the presenters, but I could see the whole crowd going round there and putting it up on my phone on YouTube to see what was actually going on.
Speaking of
so that was quite fun.
Things you could see from where you were sitting, you were very close to the Wrestle Talk lads.
I was, yes. I didn't work up the courage to say hi because anxious and anxiety and all that. But yeah, I messaged you like a video literally like a minute after I saw them walk past and sit down. I was like, what are the fucking chances that they were literally 2 rows to on the left side of the section I was in, and they're all just there.
Yeah.
One thing, I think my favorite part of the whole show of them being there was literally the gang, Bang Bang Gang's entrance, and Tempest legitimately put guns up, and it was probably the thing that popped me the most from
Yep.
anybody in the crowd.
Yeah. Redemption arc finally.
It's like quite fun.
They
But yeah,
they had
yeah.
quite a cool thing where Martha Hart recognized that the Owen Hart winners are on their show getting their title matches, which was nice.
Oh yes, because I left. I think it was it after this match that happened, or was that
Mm.
at the?
Yeah, it
Oh yeah,
was.
because after the second match, I think I then went up to get food. I got some chicken tendies and fries, which was very nice.
Oh,
With some like barbecue
hello,
sauce and stuff.
Hassan. How are you?
Hassan.
Oh no, that's chicken nuggies.
Oh, I thought you were talking about someone in chat.
No. Fucking imagine if Hassan Piker was in our chat. That'd be insane.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I can. Oh god, I haven't thought about it in ages. But yeah, they were really lovely. Those chicken tenders were really nice. Only there was like 4 or 3, I think I had.
Well, I've seen Hassan around a lot
But I
lately.
missed.
I've seen Hassan around a lot lately online because there's a US election coming up, and his content always spikes
Yeah,
around then.
yeah. He's the most annoying leftist I've ever seen. So.
Oh, I wouldn't say the most
Yeah,
annoying,
whatever.
but you know, he has his.
He's just very, really annoying. I find him very irritating. But
Mm,
yeah, I missed the first part of the her speaking because I was only walking down just as she was ending, like what she was saying. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, talking
mm.
about the matches. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and
so
then
we had another
yeah,
big tag match, and this one was a bit funny because Brian Cage and Sammy Guevara both dressed up as the Wolverine.
yes. Oh, so yeah. He Stokely Hathaway came out on yeah, it was like Egyptian pharaoh. He was sitting on like a bed
Mm,
with like little posts on it, which was quite fun. It was just very very funny. It made me chuckle quite a bit.
yeah. Uh, yeah. So did you notice the double Wolverine thing
No,
at
I
the
didn't.
time?
I think I noticed that Cage was wearing it because he's bigger.
Well,
But
he's always been the Wolverine though. That's his
yeah,
gimmick.
exactly. I've learned that this has always been his thing. But you know what's really funny? After the heels came out, um, along with you got Undisputed Kingdom came out, and I was like, oh man, no one popped for them. Just shows how not over they are
Well,
and how
remember
this entire
literally
failed.
1 year ago at Wembley Stadium, those two guys were part of the main event angle.
They were, and you know the whole the characters involved were in that literally this section last year because in this the main event I guess of the pre-show was the tag tiles, the ROH tag tile match,
Mm,
which was like so fun
yeah,
on the pre-show. Um, but
yeah.
after who came out first? Was it
So
Sammy? Sammy came out first, wasn't it?
yeah, so the big draw of this match was, well, firstly Dustin Rhodes is in it, and that's always cool. But the other factor
Yeah,
is
he
that
got good.
you've got the Von Erichs in it, which is great.
I won't lie. When Sammy came out, I very loudly said "fuck off." I very
Sammy
loudly just
Guevara.
said "fuck off." He's just so annoying. I just don't like the guy. I'm sorry. He's a knob.
Yeah,
The
apparently
Shibata came out was cool.
I mean, apparently he's a great father and a great husband. So there you go.
I'm sure he is. I just find him annoying as a wrestler.
Well, the problem with Sammy Guevara is he has this impossible conundrum to face because he's the most hateable personality, but he has the most babyface moveset. So what do you do with him?
Yeah, because yeah, because look at him. Just look at him and you get annoyed by him. Like I actually couldn't tell it was a Wolverine uh reference because I don't so no one I don't relate him to Wolverine at all. Plus, it was just like it was mostly yellow as well, the gear, compared to Cage's where you could actually tell, like on the trunks and stuff. It was like
I think with
actual
Sammy,
colors.
it was more obvious in his entrance when he had the jacket on.
Yeah. Well, with Cage, he's actually got like the black Wolverine like
Yeah.
stripes on it as well that you could tell. It was like very obvious.
Oh, I
What
just
his gear was.
realized.
Sammy.
I just noticed bloody Katsuyori Shibata is in this match. That's a thing.
I
that
just
happened.
said, yeah, it was cool when I did say it was cool when he came out because Shibata is cool.
Mm.
I forget what the finish was, but
One
I
of the
guess it
Von
was
Erichs did a
really
moonsault, and he had bare feet.
okay. But yeah, that was cool. This was cool for the Von Erichs. It was a nice showing
Yeah.
from them. I don't know who it is, but the guy who came out just in his trunks and a cowboy hat, that was very funny as a visual. I thought that was quite neat.
That's very, 70s wrestling in the
Yeah,
territories.
there should be more people who do stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I like that they actually got Kevin Von Erich out there as well in the ring. The Iron Claw.
Yeah.
That, like, especially after that
Very
film,
cool.
which
Yeah, and they did the Iron Claw stuff on them. It was very
which
cool.
we need to watch that film soon, I think.
Yeah, we do.
Apparently it's great. And then the world's Twitter's least liked person of all time, Saraya, came out.
Yeah, because fucking hell, the things she's been saying the last couple months has been very stupid.
Yep.
And I didn't even like her last year, so.
it's last year was on the bridge. This has gone full on. Embrace the criticism, as they say. But
yeah.
But yeah, she's complaining because she doesn't have a match, even though this is her home, and her whole family got booed, which was really funny.
This is my home country.
I will say Harley Cameron is a very good heat magnet. She does pretty well.
She's fun.
Yeah. But the reason why this segment exists and the reason why people love it is because of the return of Jamie Hayter.
Guy behind me was calling for it the whole segment, so he got it on the money, and I screamed like a little bitch with excitement.
Yep.
She looks fucking great. Her whole look looks amazing.
Well, did you see Twitter being like, "Oh, she's Timu Becky Lynch"? It's like, no, she's not. Shut up.
I saw that, and it was really stupid.
Even though, like, the only thing they have in common is that they have orange hair.
She came out, and she just looks like the coolest motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a shame she's from Southampton, but oh well.
God.
To be honest, I don't care about that, but it's something that Jeb definitely would care about, being from Portsmouth.
Yeah, because he's a toxic football fan, just like most Brits.
Hey. So yeah, cool to see Jamie. What's your opinion about the fact this is on the pre-show? Oh, before you say that, I'm just looking at the pre-show now. Shout out to like the two people or whatever putting up the trans flag in this segment.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And also, what's her name? Like, I can't remember her name now, but the one from last year, she was in the crowd with the flag as well, but she wasn't.
I think I saw her. I think I actually just saw her walking across the floor at one point during the first hour of the pre-show or whatever. So I was like, that's cool. I recognize her because I recognize the photo with Punk.
Yeah,
which is a very famous image now from last year.
Yeah,
I think she got a photo at the ringside. I think
I've actually I've messaged her about that, and we had a fun conversation about that whole experience.
Shout out to her.
Not only CM Punk, but also Kenny Omega as well off screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, good stuff. But anyway, Jamie Hayter is back, and she's great, and she's jacked.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I do think her peak look though was when she was champion, when she had like the black
Yeah,
hair
when
with
she was
the
like black and blonde, I think it was, or black
yeah.
and white.
And then she sort of tinted it like sort of strawberry at the front at one point. But that was probably my favorite look of hers, was like early last year.
I really like this look a lot. Maybe redheads just do it for me in wrestling. I don't know. Not in that way, but legitimately, she looks fucking awesome.
You just like lobster heads.
Lobster heads. They fucking took that theme. We haven't even talked about it. They took that theme away like a month ago.
They Def Rebel Sheamus.
Stupid.
They Def Rebel Sheamus.
Well, they Def Rebel again. Wasn't his last theme like Def Rebel?
No, it was CFO.
Like Fight Night. Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. He.
Oh no, yeah, it was.
I mean, the Brawling Brutes were Def Rebel, but Sheamus's theme was CFO.
That's what I'm thinking of, probably then. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was the pre-show. It was fun.
Yeah. So anyway, to give you my thoughts on Jamie Hayter being on the pre-show, given that they're not planning to have her involved with Brett Baker at the moment, I understand why they didn't have her on the main show.
Yeah. Not everything is going Britt's way at the moment, and we'll talk about that in ring later.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have things to say.
Mm.
Oh, actually, before the pre-show ended, weirdly enough, we had the entrances before the show started.
Yeah,
for
they've done this
the
before.
trios ladder match.
They've done this before with other shows.
A lot of people around me were very confused as to why this was happening, and then I'm like, oh, I guess they want to just get right into it as soon as the show starts.
Yeah, this is not the first time they've done it.
House of Black were fucking cool. I love their entrance.
That's true. So, is Jon Moxley out of the Blackpool Combat Club now?
At the moment, we don't know. From the 2 weeks after this, it seemingly... I feel like they are going to come back around to that at some point. I feel like I think people saying that that it might just be not acknowledged. I don't think that doesn't seem like AEW's style.
They reference Tony Khan does not leave a stone unturned. He remembers everything. He's a fucking nerd.
Not when he's crafting a story. Yeah. Out next though came Bang Bang Gang, and they actually got a pretty decent pop.
Yeah. Although
it's so funny thing like 2 years ago how under the Guns were, but now like I feel like nowadays it's just like they're just really fun to watch now,
but then Jay White and Juice Robinson came to AEW, and it completely changed everyone's perspective on the Guns.
Yeah, because like I like all three of these guys, and obviously Jay White is Jay White, who probably should be better pushed when he's back, hopefully soon. Yeah. But yeah, so and we'll talk about it in the match in a bit, but I was very impressed with the Guns in this match. I thought they were really fun and really great. Also, Juice Robinson doing push-ups on the ramp was something I saw. Even though I didn't have a screen, I saw that he did that on the ramp. Out next came Claudio and Yuta, and they did the whole shuffling thing on the stage. It was pretty fun. Yeah. What's the cup that Claudio has? I forget. Is that the CML thing?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it. Oh, it is because it says it on the trophy.
It's so low.
Yeah.
Now what?
Okay,
are you gonna talk about Christian Cage?
No. We're gonna talk about Pac, and I didn't get to see this until way after the show, like a day later. But the fucking faded image that goes to him backstage looking through like a bunch of rails is fucking hilarious. Fucking I'll just like look at this. Like what on I wish we had a screen because I would have popped so fucking hard for this if I saw it. It's so funny. Pac is like the most I just love Pac. I think he's fucking great. Like, look at that. He's fucking amazing.
He's such a goblin.
I know. I love it. He's
Yeah.
he's literally the only one person from Newcastle I really like.
Oh wow. Poor Dylan.
I'm kidding, of course.
You
But he has the
fucking
best thing to
Man
come
United bandwagoner.
bandwagoner. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fucking, I love Pac. I love Pac so much. His theme's so good as well.
Yeah,
It's it just gets the
I remember
rock chill goosebumps.
I remember when when Mikey Ruckus did a Q&A, they asked him like what were some of his favorite themes to make. Like his favorite theme in AEW is Kenny Omega's theme, but he didn't make that. That was someone else. It was Little V that made it. But his favorite theme to make was Pac's theme. He absolutely loved it. Well, actually, no, to be fair, he said the greatest honor was making Sting's theme, but the one just musically that he enjoyed making the most was Pac's.
Pax is a cool theme.
And also,
Suited him very well.
Pac is like his favorite wrestler, so that's why he put a lot of extra effort into it.
No surprise there, because Pac is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, then after this, it was the patriarchy.
Yeah. Christian Cage, who was a
And they had a very big role in this.
Big role in the show, yeah. The entrance wasn't quite as Christian Cage's entrance was not quite as fabulous as last year though, because last year he had the Big Ben clock counting him down, which was amazing.
Oh yeah, they should have just done that. Just do it again this year. Why not? Who cares? Just do it again. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. So anyway, we started the main card with the clusterfuck ladder match with all the tag teams.
Yeah,
Actually,
we did.
Not just tag teams, trios, I should say. Trios, multi-trios ladder match. What a... I don't actually know if I've ever seen this stipulation before. Like, a bunch of trios teams...
London ladder match.
A bunch of trios teams in a ladder match. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
It was very loaded as a match. There was a lot of bodies in this match.
Yes.
And I felt it was a relatively decent start to the show. I think there was a lot of really good table spots in this.
Yeah, Pat got really good reactions.
Fucking Nick Wayne fucking doing a cut to the outside onto a table.
You mean a Canadian Destroyer?
No, he did a cut to Brody Lee for a table.
You mean Brody King?
I did say Brody King, didn't I?
You said Brody Lee.
Oh, did I? Sorry. But I meant, yeah, Brody King got cutted through a table by Nick Wayne to the outside. I'm literally looking at it right now on the highlights video.
Oh yeah. Sorry, he did the Canadian Destroyer to Malachi Black.
Yeah, on the apron.
No, on the table.
You know what? Actually, I was on the table as well. Oh, okay.
Mm.
You know what? Actually, was one of my favorite spots was Juice Robinson blocking the pepper spray because he was pepper sprayed before, and then he blocked it with a chair, and then pepper sprayed Mother Wayne, which was very funny. I think I said to myself, "That's true wrestling equality."
It is. So
yeah, that's very good.
Funnily enough, in my predictions, I said that they were going to tease Pac winning and then Christian Cage was going to stop it. Actually, what happened was the reverse. They teased Christian Cage retaining and then Pac ended up winning it.
Yeah, I got that right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that Canadian Destroyer for the table was sick.
Yeah, but you know, this was a decent start. It wasn't. I wouldn't say this was a great ladder match.
No, it was fun. It was a decent opener.
If I'm to be more fair about it, I think the one from Forbidden Door was significantly better. The TNT ladder match that they had, that Jack Perry won, that was.
I think
was
one of the best ladder matches I've ever seen. One of the best ladder matches I've ever seen as a standard is the inaugural North American ladder match.
That one had Lars Sullivan, didn't it?
It did.
Funnily enough, you mentioned that match because there's a specific person who won that match who's gonna become relevant later.
Mm.
Oh no, sorry, no, they didn't win it. My bad.
No,
I'm thinking
they
of.
didn't win it. Adam
I'm
Cole
thinking,
won it.
yeah, but the person who beat him later in that year.
Yes, they did later beat him for that belt.
Yes, and we've watched that match.
But yeah.
Anyway,
oh yeah, that's pretty decent.
The Pac in his home country won the trios titles with Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Pac was really funny on the show, especially at the end of the show, just sort of standing there awkwardly. I
guarantee. I think it's very obvious in real life. Pac is an absolute sweetheart.
yeah. Have you seen those? Like, whenever you see him with his hair tied up, with his glasses on, with his mother, he's just the nicest guy.
Yeah, and he's got a very nice polo shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Pac is like really cool in real life. It's from everything I see.
The only time he probably genuinely got pissed off is when Vince McMahon told him that he's going to be Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. Also losing to Enzo Amore.
Oh yes, Jesus Christ!
Which made him, if I'm remembering the details correctly, pretty much made him quit the company.
Yeah, that is like on top of the fact that him and Austin Aries didn't get paid for their pre-show match at Mania 33,
which was a really decent match as well. That match at 33.
I would have put that on the main card.
Match.
I would have put that on main card instead of something else.
Absolutely, but you know, cruiserweights are not as good as the.
It was a fucking 5-hour show. It was a 5-hour show, and they didn't have room for that match.
Yeah, and you couldn't have that on 33, which like to space it out. Don't matter.
WrestleMania 33, which is extremely volatile, and could have done with a match like that on it.
That first half of 33 is very fun as well, which sucks. Because you had the opening with AJ and Shane, which is actually a surprisingly great match.
Yep.
Then you had Jericho Owens, which was good, but it should have been for the Universal title.
Mm.
You had the Hardys return. Like that Brock first half of 33 is like up there.
Brock versus Goldberg was fun too.
I like 33 Mania, but there are just like 2 and 3 matches that really bring
well,
down,
Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton is terrible.
Those last couple matches are really stinky.
Yeah. Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. Oof.
Yeah. That fucking sucked. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So yeah, up next we had one of the most anticipated matches on the whole card, other than probably the main event and Ospreay MJF.
Well, in terms
we had
of
Tony
build...
Storm, timeless Tony Storm. Yeah, in terms of build and actual, I think going into the show, I think this has been the best booked feud. Of 2 wrestlers going against each other. Because I guess over it, you probably would say Hangman and Swerve, but they didn't face each other on the card.
Yeah, well, that's...
so in terms of matches, I think this has the best story going into it.
We'll get to Hangman versus Swerve on our next stream. My God.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Tony Storm versus Mariah May.
Yeah.
And
this match was great.
The adaptation of the story was done as I expected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was great stuff.
This match was really good. I thought Mariah May really came to her own. I thought the use of blood was, as I expected to happen. I thought it was used very fucking well. Mariah looked amazing. Didn't know this at the time because I assumed it was the other way around. But she slapped her own mum. I thought it was like Tony Storm's mum. I would have assumed, but I got that wrong. It was her own mum, which is so much worse.
Yeah, so
it's oh my word, what a diabolical person.
None of that confusion for me because I had the commentators telling me what was happening.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one drawback when you don't have commentary.
Also, fucking hell, Nigel McGuinness on this show was so good. Not only on commentary, but he was also good in the match that he was in, which we'll talk about later. But in regards to this part of the show, he received a kiss from Mariah May on the cheek, which made his career.
Do you know the chain reaction of that kiss?
The chain reaction
of that kiss in modern culture now
is so let's go back. So Tony Khan being an absolute mark, watching Japanese wrestling, seeing Mariah May, hiring her to come over to AEW to be part of the story, her kissing Nigel McGuinness on the cheek, which then led to his career completely coming out of the dust like a phoenix from the ashes, to then his Oasis song playing at Wembley, which then reunited Oasis, and now the reissue of their first album is now on top of the charts, and they're doing a live tour, which is sold out insanely and has broken Ticketmaster. It's crazy. The chain reaction.
What a chain reaction! Your welcome, music industry.
Yeah.
Wrestling has saved it once again. Yeah, but I really enjoyed this match, and
Also,
the story was really well told.
I liked how they showed that Mina Shirakawa was in the crowd watching it as well, with bated breath.
Yes, we saw that. Yeah. But what I like about the match as well, there's more to tell with the story as well going forward. Didn't do everything they probably could have done.
Another thing I will say,
but it still was a very good match.
You know what's another thing I will say is that with Toni Storm is that all throughout her WWE run and early in her AEW run, she was always seen as like a current newish star. You know, established somewhat, but she was always seen as like a current person. But this is, I think, possibly, I mean, with maybe the exception of Jamie Hayter, I'm not sure if I could say that confidently, because I feel like that was a very just rare organic situation that happened. And I don't think it had that much to do with her, it had more to do with the crowd. But I think this match is the first time in her career that she has put someone over, like, in a big way, where a star has been made because of how she wrestled in that match.
And the story itself,
I almost feel like this moment has cemented her as like a veteran women's wrestler, whereas before she wasn't, which is interesting.
It's crazy thing where she was on the cusp of this gimmick this time last year, in that Fatal 4-Way.
Well, I just think it's interesting that when she first came in 2022, I was thinking, yeah, she's pretty new. And now I'm like, she's been around for ages, and that's 2 years.
She didn't. When did she come into it? It was like end of 2022, was it, or was it midway through?
Early to mid.
Yeah, so it's really funny seeing that first year where she really didn't. She won the belt at some point, didn't she? As just like regular Toni Storm.
She won the interim title. She won the interim. She won the interim title because Thunder Rosa got injured.
Yes, yeah, and it was just so forgettable that first year, and then this past year has just been absolutely insane in terms of the gimmick.
I think
really come together.
When her character clicked was when she lost to Jamie Hayter, and she had that promo after the match. That's when it started.
Yes. That's when it all changed, pretty much.
Yeah, because that started her heel turn, and then she did the whole Outcast thing. Which, you know, for Saraya and, like, to a lesser extent, Ruby, not so successful, but for Toni Storm, it was always great. She was the best part about that faction. And then she became Timeless Toni Storm, and it's like one of the most entertaining gimmicks I think I've ever seen. So, there you go.
And this is like one of the feuds of the year. This is absolutely the best women's feud of the year, and I don't think anything is going to get close to being it.
Yeah, it's...
This generally could be like top 3 as well from the entire industry, mainstream industry.
I would say top 5. I don't know if I'd say top 3, just because I think the final boss, Dwayne, part of the Mania build is above this, even though it was shorter.
Very good. It is very good.
Even though it was shorter, and there was one hump that they had to get over. When it got good, it was like some of the best stuff ever. Obviously, Punk and Drew, and then Hangman and Swerve as well are 2 big examples.
Those are my 1 and 2.
Yeah, but the thing is, Hangman and Swerve's a bit complicated because it was also last year as well.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. But
That'll be a discussion for the end of the year, I would say.
I guess so, yeah. But this is certainly one of the best feuds of the year, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree. The match was awesome. The character work was top notch. I've always found it weird when people say that AEW is only a sports-based company that only cares about good matches, because you have something like this, which is very like sports entertainment and is very good. So I don't really understand that criticism, because it's very obvious from the state of it that actually there's more variety in this company than people say. Also,
yeah.
Mariah May bled buckets in this match as well.
Yeah, she did. She got busted in very early.
Yeah.
Great use of blood.
I bet Nigel's happy that she decided to kiss him before she cut her head open.
Well, you never know. You never know with Nigel.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sick fuck. Just like Danielson.
I don't know if you've seen it, but her very short interview backstage was just great. Her just saying, "What the fuck did they tell you was going to happen?"
Yeah, that was amazing.
Like...
Also, I just want to say, this is like a bit of like deep lore, but the pettiness of Nigel McGuinness to return on this show and reunite Oasis with his theme song, to overshadow Danielson's big moment, is very funny. Bryan Danielson had his crowning achievement, and Oasis returning is more important because of Nigel. Oh dear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, the first match on the card, like the ladder match, I was like, okay, yeah, that was alright. But once the women's match happened, I was like, oh yeah, I'm locked in now. This is what I came to see. And I also loved, now that Timeless Toni Storm has gone babyface, she went to hit her with the shoe and then she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then Mariah May,
we do tell stories.
Yeah, and then Mariah May went full Japan mode on her and beat the shit out of her with a Shining Wizard, and then hit her own finishing move on her, which kind of completes the story. It's like, I am your copycat, and I beat you with your own move,
and I'm better.
Yeah. Also,
Very
Mariah
good.
May's promo
Great
on
match.
Dynamite
Really perked me up.
Also, I love that segment on Dynamite she had after having won the belt, and Tony Schiavone is being an absolute simp, as always. Very awkward.
One thing that we'll talk about it later. Yeah, she hasn't got a challenge yet, though, which is a bit strange from what I've seen.
That's true.
So and she obviously doesn't have a match in All Out, which is fine. What I hope after this week that, you know, her next challenger, because she needs to have a very good first challenger as champion, and that hopefully will go well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now, enough of stuff that's like good. Let's talk about something that was fucking really shit.
What, Jericho versus Hook?
That's the Fozzy entrance. I cannot tell you how many people, when the match was over and they saw what was happening, got up and left to go to either the toilet or get food and drinks.
I would
Pete Cornell fucking shared an image during this, I saw, like not long after the entrance, of a queue to go to the toilets. It was massive.
I mean, I think I'd somewhat defended his entrance last year because I think it had some good stuff to it, but not this one. This one sucked. This was just bad. It was just a bad song. Bad performance.
He can't sing.
Yeah, I think there have been points in his life where he could, but not now. I think there is a song that he did in 2005 called Enemy. It's actually a really nice song. I like it. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, just
No,
this
I
I got to saw
barely.
the hook signal, which was neat.
Yeah, the Batman thing.
Yeah.
I've always been a bit uncertain about that, to be honest. It seems like Hook was he was presented as quite a, like, not really enigmatic, but just kind of not a gimmicky character, and it feels like they've made him into one. My favorite thing about this match was Taz, though.
Yeah.
When he got involved.
Yeah,
And
Taz is fun.
You wouldn't have experienced it the same way I did, but because I heard Taz on commentary throughout the whole match, he was basically building up to it, and it was really like. I love the way he was saying. He was like, I'm supposed to be a professional, but I can't remember exactly what it was, the breaking point, but he's like, sometimes a man's got to take it into his own hands, and then he got involved.
Yeah.
Hook had a cricket bat.
Yep, and Jericho brought out some cricket balls because British.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting sick of that now. there's more sports in America. There's more sports in the UK, like, football and darts. And
bring out some darts. Honestly, if he brought out darts and then gimmicks like stabbing him with darts, that actually would have been really good.
That would have been
amazing.
Would have been
really fun.
And
that's actually brutal. Not throwing cricket balls at him at not even at the actual speed they would be at, because that'd be fucking dangerous.
If it was a Jon Moxley match, they would have used darts.
Yeah, and it would have been really good, because that would have been fun. Like, you could have absolutely had him being tied up in the corner, and then Jericho just stand up as if he is legitimately throwing darts, and that would have been really fun. That's like a really fun spot.
Yeah. Do
someone absolutely should be doing that at All In?
Do the Brits play croquet?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The popular things here are like football, cricket, darts,
tennis,
rugby, tennis. Yeah. I guess because Wimbledon was actually pretty recent, actually.
Well, the thing is that
it was like a month or two ago.
Despite the fact that rugby was created in England, I don't really associate it with England, to be honest. I associate it with the Southern Hemisphere.
It is quite big, but yeah, it's not as big as
it is. No,
I would say
big.
Darts and football are the proper British, in terms of culture.
I'm not saying it's not big, but when someone says rugby, I think New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland, France. That's what I think of. Yeah. I used to think Australia, but not anymore. But rugby league in Australia is huge. Rugby league.
Yeah. Someone should absolutely do that. Do a fucking darts gimmick.
Yep. Man, imagine if when they go to Australia, they do an AFL reference and no one outside of Australia understands it. Because Aussie rules football is such a niche.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really want to talk about the Hook Kid Jericho match. I just don't care.
No, it was nothing. I don't remember it. Thank God.
What were your thoughts on Max Caster's rap?
I can't remember what he said.
I feel like the novelty's wearing off a bit. It's been 4 years. It's been 4 years.
Well, hasn't he been doing a whole thing where he hasn't been doing it, and then I guess this was the big, I'm now doing it here?
I guess so.
I feel like that's been a story that's been told.
Probably because he's running out of things to say.
I can't remember what he said. I know it was a reference to something, but I can't remember what it was because it's been 2 weeks.
I guess he's self-aware that people think he's fallen off. It's weird because if this was happening last year with the Acclaim, the Bucks, and FTR, it would be so different because I would probably care about the Acclaim the most But in this match, I actually care about them the least, which is strange.
Yeah. So this match, I thought the Young Bucks looked great. I thought their attire was really
So
fun.
let me put it this way: from last year, FTR is exactly the same because they never change. They're always
Pretty
great.
much, yeah.
The Young Bucks, out of these three last year, were the weakest, and now they're the strongest because their characters have done a 180. I also want to point out the Young Bucks did Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. They dressed as John Lennon and Paul McCartney, which was great.
Yeah, it is.
But it is interesting just how much it's changed in 1 year. That like the Acclaimed have become like super stale, and the Young Bucks are really good.
Yeah, very funny.
I think. Do you think maybe it's time for the Acclaimed to go heel again?
Yeah, I think that's been the case for a while now.
Yeah.
But they should have done it. And just be the Acclaimed and not the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. I feel like that's now massively overdone now.
I think it's
as much as I was
for,
chatting, like everyone was chatting Daddy Ass, including myself. There's no denying that I think this thing has run its course a long time ago.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I know that Tony Khan won't tell Billy Gunn when to retire. He'll just let him choose. But I think, creatively speaking, he needs to separate, have one last singles run, and then I know Will Ospreay wants to retire him, so they can just do that. But yeah, Daddy Ass needs to like end soon. I think actually having the Acclaimed turn on Daddy Ass is a great way for them to turn heel anyway. And then Billy Gunn can have his own little singles run to finish off his career, and then, yeah, whatever. But, yeah, this whole act is just... Ugh. I'm just done with it. But on the other hand, the Young Bucks have completely reinvented themselves and are great. Which is great. Well, I'd love to see it. Yeah,
this match was compared to last year. This was a lot less a match.
This felt like a Dynamite match. It wasn't.
It did feel like a. It did not feel like a pay-per-view match. It was fine. I thought it was just fine.
Yeah.
I thought Bowens looked good.
I wouldn't say I was like massively disappointed. I was just like, oh, okay, that was a match.
No, it was just like it was fine, and it just kind of finished at some point. It was like, yeah, this was like what, like 8 minutes, 9 minutes.
Yeah,
how long was this match? It was not long.
The big talking point though was after the match, the grizzled young vets came out.
Yes. This is where I feel like the show started to really pick up rhythm from this point onward.
Also, one of the grizzled young vets, the one that has hair, he looks like...
This was 12 minutes long, this match. This was the shortest match on the... Jericho was the shortest.
So, the guy from the grizzled young vets, I can't remember which name is which guy, because I don't know them that well. But the one with hair, he looks like an evil British version of Alex Reynolds, but without the black hair. He's just got like lighter hair, but he looks so similar to Alex Reynolds. And then like the other one is like a tall, skinny John Silver. So they're like the Dark Order, but British.
I popped for them because I recognized them instantly.
Yeah.
It was like, oh guys, grizzled young vets.
Did they
I struggled to get it out because I was that excited.
Did they wrestle in WCPW? I'm sure they did, right?
No, they wrestled in DPW.
Yeah, I think WCPW might have
They
been
might
slightly...
have done something.
It might have been slightly before their
check.
time, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't recognize that anyway, but I'll have a quick check then.
Yeah. Also, Forbidden Door is coming to London next year. In August.
Yes. That was pretty much... Yeah, that was the
on the calendar next year. They have swapped. They have swapped All In and Forbidden Door. They're doing All In where Forbidden Door is usually placed. They're doing it in Texas, and then they're doing Forbidden Door in London. as well as Grand Slam in the Gold Coast in February.
No, James Drake wasn't in WCPW.
Okay.
I'm looking at his Cade match.
Yeah.
There was someone called Drake that was pulled who was in WCPW. But it wasn't James Drake.
Okay. Right. I want to talk about something that popped me massively on this show. I absolutely loved this. Orange Cassidy's Mr. Bean entrance. This was fucking hilarious.
Popped hard for it. I popped hard because I had, again, no screen in front of us, so we had to look behind us. But I fucking popped massively for that.
Amazing.
I recognized it instantly, and I was
not only
so
is
into
it
it.
not only an iconic British figure, but also perfect for Orange Cassidy. I'm like, yeah, that this makes sense. I feel like genuinely, as characters, Mr. Bean and Orange Cassidy would get along.
100%. Oh my god!
But the fact that they actually like recreated the entire intro from the show, like word for word, point for point, and then also the fact that he had his little pyro go off in the stadium, and then they also had the little pyro go off at the top of the stadium as well. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, no, I loved that. That was genuinely one of my favorite moments on the whole show, was the Mr. Bean entrance. I loved that. But more importantly, this was the Casino Gauntlet match, which is a really unique stipulation because it can end at any time and guys just keep running out. I think AEW has hit a golden ticket with this. I think they have found their version of the Royal Rumble with this match. It's obviously not as prestigious, the stakes aren't as big necessarily, but in terms of just as a match, I think this gimmick has the potential to be amazing. And I think for a lot of this match it actually was, but I think they can continue to do this once a year. Don't overdo it, just do it once a year. Probably only at All In shows. Maybe do it in Texas next year. But I genuinely think that this stipulation of match is amazing. And
yeah, very fun.
Even though the end of the match is a little bit questionable, like it was a bit like, oh, I don't know if this is the best ending. Apart from that, I really loved this match. I thought it was so much fun. Like magic. Especially like with all the characters that interacted. Like you started with Cassidy and Okada, which is fucking hilarious because they were both in Chaos. Because Chaos and Best Friends were together, and then Okada did the fake hug and then did the hilarious look at the camera, which has been memes to death.
Yeah.
Okada is so good, man. Also, once again, you lucky bastard, you got to watch Okada wrestle live.
Yeah, that was cool. His entrance was cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so they started with that, and then they had Nigel McGuinness come out, which just blew the roof off.
Yeah.
How about you talk about that, because you were there when Nigel McGuinness came out.
I remember when that happened, looking to my left and Ollie and Luke jumping up for joy and marking out massively, because who wouldn't? It was fucking insane.
Well, not only are they big fans of like British indie wrestling and Nigel McGuinness's commentary and his wrestling, but they also love Oasis as well. So it was like a triple whammy.
Yeah, it was just this was like so fun, this whole match. Yeah, they absolutely should be running this a lot.
Also,
you know, seeing Zack Sabre Jr. fucking come out was awesome. That was great.
Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness wrestling to each other.
Everyone lost their fucking minds. Everyone lost their minds during that.
It's like the king of two generations of British wrestling on the indies.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Do you know the name of Nigel's theme song?
No, but I learned later that it was an Oasis song.
It's called Fucking in the Bushes.
Oh wow. I feel like I've recognized the song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's funny. So yeah, and then the entrance that I think we were all kind of waiting for, Ricochet coming out was
Yeah.
very cool. Like I instantly recognized it because you get it's this theme song has the name Ricochet in it.
Yeah, it does. But before you talk about Ricochet, I just want to mention Nigel McGuinness wrestled Okada on this show. Who thought we were going to get that?
All of that is just so fun and cool. This whole match until the finish, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Also, Kyle O'Reilly was
now
in this
there
match
is
as
one
well.
part that that's cool. There is one part that I am going to play the audio of because I filmed most of the entrances for this because it's a fucking it's a Rumble-esque kind of match, so you have to. So I'll just load up my phone. Hopefully we get that working. Hopefully that's working. Come on. No. Okay, here we go. Let's hopefully this actually works. I need to push to talk. Let me do that.
Yeah, push to talk.
Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, I'll. This was during Christian.
Push to talk, please.
There we go. Is that working?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go. Okay. All right. I probably should have just got the actual clip.
Also,
but,
another thing that was really, really crazy and kind of cringe on Twitter was there was all these surprises, and then Reach for the Skyboy happened, and people were like, for a split second, they're like, shit, did they bring Jay Briscoe back from the dead? Has he returned?
Oh, what? I'm very glad I didn't see that. Bloody hell. Anyway, here's my recording from Christian's entrance. And then I think they say something right at the end. Because he's hobbling along at this point from the first match. I'd say he's so brave when he comes out. Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, also, how could I forget? You know who else was in this match? Hangman Adam Page, another big name.
Yes, I filmed that as well, and it was just like, oh god, it was so good. This match was so good.
Yeah. So many big names. And Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett got a match at Wembley.
Yes, I forgot about Jeff Jarrett. Oh my god. He was really over. He got a massive pop.
Yeah. I feel like we've come full circle with Jeff Jarrett.
And then Hangman got absolutely whacked by a guitar, which was awesome.
Yep. Yeah, again, because we had two generations of British indies, and then with Jeff Jarrett and Hangman, it's like we had two generations of cowboys.
Yeah, this match was great until Luchasaurus came out, and then we're all thinking, this is it. This is the turn. This is the perfect spot to do it because of the first match with the finish. He, told Christian told him to get down, even though he could have just won. He comes out, he costs Christian the match, and then maybe someone else can win, or maybe Luchasaurus can win. I don't know. Probably not, but it would have been really cool to see him actually finally turn on him. No, he just lays, I think, Kyle O'Reilly out, and then Christian just pins him, and that's it.
Yeah, it was a stupid swerve.
Really lame finish. Really bad.
Really lame finish.
Really bad way to end the match.
To an otherwise great match.
Yeah. You could feel the wind coming out of everybody around you in the crowd when that happened.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the ladder match from All Out 2022. Great match, and then the devil comes out and wins, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although that was probably even worse. But
Yeah, that was
another
I think,
thing, another thing I want to say. This is kind of an observation about wrestling I've had over the years. And to be fair, it's not exactly relevant these days because Vince McMahon's no longer booking anymore, which is a good thing. But something that Vince used to always do in matches like this is he would have two really big guys face off and do a big stare down. And it
yeah, that
got
happens
really,
a lot.
yeah, it would get really repetitive and annoying when he would constantly do that over and over and over again. What I love about what AEW does and what they did in this match is when guys had a stare. Oh, also Roderick Strong was in this match as well, and he was great.
Yeah, that's fun.
But what I love about when AEW does a stare down, like in this match, is there's so much more to the meaning behind it. Because either it's these two guys have history, or it's these two guys have never met in the ring before, and you have those reasons to pop for it. It's not just, wow, look at these big sweaty men, which is just really, like, shallow. Like, to get bloody Braun Strowman and the Big Show in the ring together and be like, oh, look how tall they are. Which is just, ugh. I don't care. The novelty of that, you know, Titan face-off wears off very thin if you do it all the time, especially when you do it multiple times in the same match. But like in this match, when you have like Hangman Adam Page and Okada facing off because they have history, you know, like back in the Bullet Club versus Chaos days, Nigel McGuinness and Zack Sabre, you know, and all those other examples, or like when Nigel McGuinness and Okada face off because they've never wrestled before. It's things like that that make the difference for me. But yes, great match, bad finish.
Yep.
and Ricochet kind of got overshadowed, but he was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Cool to see him wrestle. I really enjoyed Roderick Strong wrestling. He's very interesting to watch wrestle in real
Yes.
life and how he moves, and like because he's all about fucking backbreakers.
Yeah. Also, he wrestles like a chiropractor. Also, I loved after Christian Cage won the match, they did a camera shot of Hangman Adam Page with like a crow's nest of hair, realizing that he can't face Swerve or Danielson.
God, they are just booking Hangman so well with his character.
Yeah, I think Hangman Adam Page, not only does he have very good connections with obviously the Elite and Tony Khan, but I think his creative input to his character over the entire of his tenure, apart from the CM Punk stuff, because that was not great. But apart from that, his input on his character has been very strong over his AEW career. His attention to detail is magnificent, which is great, which is why he's a perfect opponent for Swerve, because Swerve is also great with attention to detail. So it's like a match made in heaven. But yeah, moving on, because we'll have more to say about Hangman in our next stream. At the half point of the way in the show, we got the rematch of MJF versus Will Ospreay. First thing to say, Will Ospreay's Assassin's Creed entrance at Wembley Stadium is one of the greatest entrances I think I've ever seen in wrestling. And you were there.
So so I want to quickly talk about that because as someone who, when they were very young, like I can't remember when Assassin's Creed 2 came out, but when that came out, it was the first one I ever played, and it's probably the one I've played the most. I played it so much when I was around that age, and I've been playing it like many times over the years. So to have an entrance where the actual voice actor of Ezio, Roger Craig Smith, actually playing the character and describing Will's entire wrestling story from starting out in England, then going to Japan, then coming here, and then coming to the States was honestly got me just insanely emotional. Like I was very close to tearing up. It was honestly, and I kept saying it over and over again, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. This was so cool. Yeah, and I know it's an advertisement, it is, but it's like so, and how Will obviously describes it in the media scrum, like he's inducted into the assassins like guild. It's just like it's just so cool. This is awesome.
Mm,
It's one of the coolest entrances I've ever seen, and I got to see it live. Like bloody hell. And
yeah.
I tweeted it after, like a week after. Just bring me back to the moment where everyone's just screaming Osprey.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite moments I've seen in like a live setting. Honestly, one of the coolest moments I've got to witness.
The
It
way
was
that
awesome.
they in the video package cut between Assassin's Creed and Osprey, like it just so smoothly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and they even played the theme from Assassin's Creed 2, Ezio's family, in it, which is just like, oh my god, they got it so right. They got it so right. One of my
Yep.
favorite music OSTs.
And also, as you said, the narrator talking about the Tiger Driver as well
Yeah.
for the story.
Yeah, Ezio talking about his beginnings in England, going to Japan, then coming to States, and his losing his way a bit with the whole story with the Tiger Driver, and then it's just, and it played to the match. It was just so fun. I loved it.
I have to
It
say,
even got Tin to say this is fucking cool about wrestling, that's a win in my books.
yeah, that is cool. I think we have to give some credit to Kenny Omega because he got that move over so hard last year at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
The way he took that bump was so dangerous to the point where everyone believed that the move was an actual hazard. And now it's being used in a Wembley storyline.
Also, Will's attire was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the complete package. He's great at everything. He's perfect. Also, the parkour breakdancers in the entrance as well. That was another thing that was great about it.
Because parkour.
Yeah, but like you said, when he got into the ring and then the entire stadium chanted "Osprey, Osprey," it's just the most magnificent sound. And then with all the pyro going off on the ceiling, so good.
Yeah, I got to film that as well. Yeah, and then our American Hero came out, and everyone charted his theme song because, it's fun.
Yeah, royalty.
But
free,
he also got booed a lot.
He did. Yeah, he did. I think MJF is very happy to be a heel again.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is kind of funny though, because at Wembley last year he was loved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you've
turned into a story.
You've turned into a robot. Let's go to Singapore. All right, that's better.
That helped.
That's much better.
All right. But but like I said, it plays into the story. He doesn't. This whole America thing has been a shield over what the actual motivation is for Max, which is they loved me until you showed up and then ruined it all.
MJF came out to the ring, the American flag came down, and all the stars were replaced with his face.
I thought it was something else, but then I've seen it since, and that's just very funny.
And he was wearing Lex Luger's attire. Which is so funny. Famously shit American Patriot gimmick. Oh dear. Yeah.
This match was awesome.
Yeah, how was watching MJF versus Will Ospreay live?
Whenever they were in the ring, it was like some really intense stuff. Like when I can't remember what move it was, but when Max hit Will on the apron and then Will fell down onto the floor. Seeing that live was so insane because it's like as if Will just completely just disappeared. after
Yeah.
that, after falling off. It was just he hit
Yeah.
him with a Canadian destroyer on
I
the
will
apron.
say,
Fucking hell.
as a wrestling match, I do prefer the Dynamite match. However, as a moment, this was, for the story, very major, and it was the more important match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought this match was really awesome. And yeah, Will just looked absolutely insanely good. And so did Max as well.
Mm.
And then we got the return of Daniel Garcia, which was a pretty cool moment as well.
Yes.
So at first, when it happened, I didn't know who. I either first guessed Cole at first because I couldn't tell. Then I thought Michael Oku because I couldn't actually see the guy was white. Then it was revealed to be Daniel Garcia,
Mm.
which makes sense, of course, which is a cool moment. And obviously they're going to have a match at All Out, which hopefully will be good. And we'll get to that later.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, this match was awesome. What a fucking amazing match. A true spectacle to witness live. Also, the hidden blade to the cameraman was awesome. That was great.
Oh yeah, that was he whacked him so hard.
Yeah, I can't remember what wrestler that was, but I know it is a wrestler.
Mm.
But yeah. Now, going from something that was absolutely amazing, let's talk about what I think was the worst thing on the show. I absolutely did not like this at all.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't that good, but at the same time,
No.
I do think some of the vitriol I've seen online has been a little bit disgusting.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't think this was as inhumane as some people say. It was just a match that didn't go that well, as opposed to like evil deeds.
I thought this match was pretty bad. I thought this match was pretty bad.
I think it kind of picked up.
I did not get into it at all.
I think while watching it on TV,
it only had that.
It did pick up.
It had that spot from the corner.
Yeah, it did.
Right.
Did have that. I think it picked up in like the last 10% of it. I do like the entrances, especially Mercedes' entrance. I thought that was good. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, definitely. I remember when we were doing the predictions for this show, I was cautious about the fact that Baker hadn't been in the ring for about a year, and also had been recovering from multiple injuries. On top of the fact that there was a concern about whether or not these two would mesh. It was an uncertain quantity, and unfortunately, it seemed like all of those things ended up not playing out. Mercedes definitely tried.
I cannot tell you how quiet the crowd was being in it during this match.
Yeah, Mercedes.
It was so quiet.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is also because they were so, you'd been so overwhelmed by a lot of the show that came before it. But as I was going to say, Mercedes did an interview recently where she says that there were moments in this match where she regrets not making a different decision and calling, certain moments, because she kind of in the past has done that and it's worked. But in this match, I think because of how much pressure there was and the stage they were on, she kind of just stuck with the plan and it didn't work out. Obviously it takes two to tango, and Baker was not on her top form. In fact, this was actually quite disappointing from her outside of a few highlights, mainly the top rope spot. But as Mercedes said, this could have gone very differently had she sort of read the room and, basically in the match, because usually, traditionally speaking, unless you're John Cena, the heel calls the match. In this match, it would have been Mercedes would have had, enough. She would have had the authority to make changes on the fly, and they would have adapted. But because they didn't, it didn't get over. And by the time they got to like the end of the match, when they were, getting towards the finish, it just wasn't. It just wasn't. It was too late. It wasn't. They couldn't do much. They were running out of time, so it didn't work. And so, yeah, unfortunately, it is a bit of a dud of a match because of that. But like I said, I do think just the absolute extreme reaction that some people that are terminally online had to this match was a bit much. I think it was a bit over the top because it got to very weird levels where they were like starting to, I don't know, I just saw a lot of very weird personal comments made about especially Brett Baker, but even to Mercedes as well, and it just just rubbed me the wrong way. The way, I mean, to be fair, like wrestling fans are known to be a bit weird sometimes, but I don't know, I just didn't like the way that fans spoke about it. I feel like there was a more constructive way they could have gone about it rather than just being very weird and parasocial and creepy. Like, I remember people were saying like, oh, did this match suck because these women couldn't hold relationships? It's like, Jesus Christ, get over yourself. Fucking hell. It's completely irrelevant. And then also, it didn't help the fact that the build to this match got completely ruined by the fact that Baker got suspended, so that the TV time in the Dynamites leading up to it wasn't able to feature their feud enough. So there was not a lot of heat going into it. On top of the fact that the dynamic was a problem because you've got Mercedes, who's a heel, versus Britt Baker, who's a babyface who has lost her steam. And had this been, I don't know, a triple threat match with Jamie Hayter, for example, it could have gone very differently. I don't blame Tony Khan for booking this match because I think it was a good idea. It just didn't turn out right.
Mm.
And that's
It just didn't work.
That's my long-winded take about this match. It's not a good match, but I also think there's things that fans just need to stop doing in general, especially with women's wrestlers. For some reason, I feel like they feel like they have more I don't know, just incentive to be weird about it if it's a women's match.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was probably the worst match on the show. Sadly.
Oh, yeah, for me, yeah.
Again, I didn't watch the pre-show, so I can't give you a definitive answer.
Well, it's the thing I enjoyed the least. I can say that.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. After that, we had the coffin match between last year's biggest heel, Jack Perry.
Mm-hmm.
This time last year against Darby Allin.
I love that his Titantron is shattered glass. It's so cheeky.
So when this match happened and Jack Perry got out of the bag and poured out all of the glass onto the floor, I very loudly said, "Real glass," out loud.
You know what
everyone to hear.
You know what was shocking to me about this match? Because obviously it had its time cut, right? It's been reported that they ran out of time.
Yes.
So it was shorter than they planned.
It went 10
but
minutes.
you know what really surprised me about this match? It was a squash match. When you really think about it, Jack Perry squashed Darby Allin.
Because Darby pretty much went a million miles an hour, and then went right into the coffin, which pretty much put him out for the whole match, other than when Jack got put into the glass, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because, heel confidence.
Yeah, there was a bit of carnage
but it was
on
pretty
both
much
sides.
a Jack Perry dominant match, really.
It was very dominant, and I was like, this is so... I thought it was unusual, the way they did it. I thought it was very unusual. And certainly was not as good as the coffin match from last year. Because that match from last year was sick.
No.
I loved that match. But that match...
There was very brief CM Punk chant chants in my section. They
Mhm.
got drowned out by "fuck CM Punk" chants,
Yeah, I
which is
remember.
very funny.
I heard that very loud on the broadcast.
Yeah, there were actually when he did that and Jack Perry posed, Luke Owen got up and very approvingly clapped and nodded. I remember that that I got that right in my brain, that image.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like you had to do it. You had to make a reference to it in this match. You'd be silly not to. And they got the biggest pop.
Also,
CM Punk is still the most over person in AEW. People say.
oh dear. Also, how much has Jack Perry improved in the last year since last year's Wembley? His aura.
He's definitely improved.
His aura has increased, for sure. And he was about to set Darby Allin on fire inside a coffin, and then Sting came out to Metallica's song, like last year. So he's returned since his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
To once again beat
that
up the
was
Young
awesome.
Bucks.
It was awesome. When the lights went out, we all kind of knew it was going to be Sting, and then the Seek and Destroy started playing, and we just lost our minds.
Even before that, as soon as I got the feeling that Jack Perry was dominating the match, I'm like, oh yeah, Sting's coming out. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, then the Young Bucks came out. They were gonna fucking light the coffin on fire.
Yep.
I thought they legit were gonna do it. At first.
Yeah, I was thinking, is this gonna be like when they did that, when Randy Orton did that to The Undertaker and nearly set himself on fire?
Yeah. But yeah, this was fine. The match was way too short.
Yeah. You could have removed
it did just kind of just end.
Yeah, I kind of wish they'd just, removed either the Jericho match or the Mercedes match and just
You
made
can't have
this
Jericho
longer.
not at all in, Connor. He's got to perform for Fozzy. It makes me think what this, like, when I think about this whole show, when you got people like Edge, Adam Copeland out.
They could have had
what they were going to
do. Listen, they could have had Jericho in the gauntlet match.
And that actually would have been better, to be honest.
Yeah.
That probably would have actually been a lot better. And if you had Hook in it as well, that's how you can do the feud. That would have worked a lot better than a match that no one cares about.
Yeah. I wouldn't, obviously I don't think the TBS match worked, but I don't think you can sacrifice it. Just only in hindsight do you have that perspective. I think booking Mercedes versus Britt Baker at All In 6 months ago sounds like a really good idea on paper. So I don't disagree with that.
On paper, yeah.
Yeah. But regardless, we got past this match that was too short, and then we got to the main event, which was absolutely generationally amazing from start to finish. From the video package to the entrances to the match itself to the ending. I loved everything about this. Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. Talk about it. Tell me, you were there.
Oh god, the energy throughout the entire match was insane. Being in a crowd with that many people chanting "yes" was a very surreal moment.
How was being in Wembley Stadium when the final countdown was playing?
Loud, very loud. Everyone was singing it. Everyone. You could tell a lot of people were very much into the whole atmosphere, and it was just really, really surreal.
Also,
to watch everyone in the stadium.
Because I had the TV camera view, I can tell you Swerve Strickland's entrance had 10,000 aura.
Oh boy, did it. I filmed the whole thing. I filmed both entrances. Yeah, it was crazy. It really did feel like a proper boxing heavyweight built up to match.
Yeah.
Also, a big blockbuster match.
Bryan having his wife and kids in the crowd was lovely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Very much part
very,
of the story.
very, very sadly, their family has not been very positive in the news lately on the other side of the family, which is
That
really
came out
sad.
after this, didn't it? Which was
Yeah,
really
it did.
sad.
It's put a big damper on it, and it's very sad. But
Yeah, in hindsight, looking back,
yeah,
yeah.
but on the show, it was great to see. I loved the contrast of Bryan Danielson came out to the ring by himself, and then Swerve came out with all of his friends around him.
Yeah, that was very good. Like, it makes him look so like massive in how the presentation portrays him with that kind of entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah, this match was insane. Whole crowd was like on the edge of their seat, I think, for the entire
Yeah.
match. I never I never bit on any of the near falls that Swerve nearly got, but because I predicted Danielson, and I was so convinced Danielson was going to win the belt, but everyone around me was very much on the edge of their seat, uh, very worried that it could actually end up Swerve winning. I could tell by a lot of people's faces when I was looking around. Um, yeah, this match was so well built up to, and the finish was excellent. I got to listen to it after fucking Danielson. I can't remember what moves Swerve was doing to him, but you had Danielson kept saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you" to his family,
Yeah.
which was just Jesus Christ, literally a perfect way of using the power of love to prevail
Yeah.
and winning. Yeah, really good shit.
Well, because this is real. This is real family. It's
This is real,
real.
damn it. It's real to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swerve coming out looking
Yeah,
like
this is
Killmonger was fucking awesome.
really good. Just this match ruled and was, I think, easily the best match on the card.
As it
And
should have
and
been.
that's the thing. When this happened, there was very obviously going to be tweets like compared to last year's main event, where people will say, "Oh, it's way better than
Oh, it's just a different match.
MGF and Cole."
It's a
And
different match though.
and
They're not the same.
that's what I'm saying. On paper, yes, I think the actual in-ring work. Oh yeah, easily better. But I love both of them because they both trying to achieve sort of different things. They're both telling a story, and one is more to do with professional like careers and actual ability compared to the last year, which was about the two individuals themselves as people. And both, I think, did an excellent job of telling their stories.
Yeah, because what? Because
If I were to say what
the
was the better match, yeah,
the
I would obviously say
the
Danielson.
MJF Adam Cole thing was not. It's not just a match though. There's multiple layers to what they were doing in the match. That wasn't just about the wrestling. It was a multifaceted experience, and that's just to judge it based on how good was the match is just not fair, because then that's not the primary goal. It's just one of the goals.
Yeah.
I do struggle a bit with some wrestling fans and the way that they try to compare certain things that are different in their mission statement. You know, they serve purposes that are similar, but they're not exactly the same. But anyway, this felt very, like, in terms of the way that he was over, it felt very WrestleMania 30-esque for Bryan Danielson. However, the difference the difference being his AEW character and his WWE character are very different. The way that Vince McMahon and Tony Khan present this guy are quite drastically different, because Vince presented him as the B+ player, the underdog, the like very childlike character, very sort of, you know, he didn't feel like a man, he felt like a boy a lot of the time, even though he was a very violent, capable athlete. a lot of the time, especially in that early sort of long hair run before he returned. I think once you get to like the environmental stuff and like his later run, it's a bit different. But in his first WWE run, Vince kind of presented him a bit more like a child, which, you know, it had its purpose. But he was very much an overachiever. Whereas in AEW, Tony Khan presents him like a god. Like, he is the god of wrestling, come to this company to bestow his holiness on us. It's a completely different presentation. But what I love about this is that by having him have to fight for his life to beat Swerve, it makes Swerve look great in defeat. And that's one of the best things about this match, is that despite losing, Swerve is made to look amazing because he almost beat Bryan Danielson at Wembley and just couldn't quite get the job done because Danielson had his family to fight for and Swerve only had his ambitions. Like, it's quite. Also, the other thing, talking about character dynamics, Swerve has been a babyface this year, but there's always been that edge underneath that's been ready to fire at any point. And what I loved is that in this match, because he's against Danielson, he leaned into that heel side of himself, which I love. I love it when you have a complex character like that. You know, CM Punk's the same. He can do that too sometimes when the time calls for it. Is when someone can lean on a different side of their character to, you know, enhance the story. And Swerve is one of those guys. He can play babyface and heel, and he can kind of do a bit of both. And then you talk about the wrestling, the execution, the striking, the grappling, the pacing. Everything about it was top notch. Both of these guys are incredible. The near falls were exceptional, and the blood, the, you know, the Japanese inspired moves, the Swerve's, like, I swear with every match, Swerve just gets more and more lethal with his moves. Like, he just, everything he does now looks like extremely painful. Especially since he feuded with Hangman Adam Page, he's become a lot stiffer. Since he's bulked up and gotten into main event style. And yeah, Danielson won after he, as always, did the very scary, like, I'm pretending to be injured. Hangman got briefly involved at the end to screw Swerve, which is leading into All Out. I loved that. I love that Hangman, like, he will not let this go. He will not let this go. He will screw Swerve until the end. So with a bit of love for his family at ringside, and then I love the near fall of the fact that you had Hangman do the distraction, Bryan Danielson hits the running knee, gets a 2 count off that, and Nana almost getting into the ring to break it up. It's like they almost made you think, and then he won with the lapel lock into the abdominal stretch hold, kind of similar to what William Regal used to do. And Bryan Danielson is the AEW World Champion. And I assume he will hold it until he has his retirement and then becomes part-time. And yeah, so that was the show. Also, the media scrum after the show was fucking hilarious. I loved it. Mariah May did a Tony Storm parody, and it was absolutely hilarious. And as always, Will Ospreay is great on those panels as well. Dave Meltzer asked Bryan Danielson's daughter if she wants to go to Japan and Australia. Someone asked Mercedes about her divorce.
Ospreay lost his mind for Meltzer, which is very funny.
Yeah. Someone asked Mercedes about her divorce. She gave an amazing answer to the question, though. Jesus Christ, she is so good on interviews. Like, when someone asks her something and she just completely turns it into something like a really, really good in-character answer, I'm just like, how do you do that? I guess it's just years of practice. But that's... yeah. I was very impressed after a very not well-regarded match, how Mercedes Moné on that press scrum just completely took over and did not sink at all. And to be fair, let's be honest, it's probably not, apart from the fact that she didn't call the match exactly right, it's probably not her fault that this happened. It's probably more so a Baker thing. Because we've seen Mercedes have great matches. Then and now. It's just not this one. The pyro at the end as well, for Danielson's win, and the confetti was like something out of a movie. It was cinematic. Bryan Danielson's son ran around in the ring, and it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. And then Bryan Danielson teased doing the Tiger Driver to his own son. And Pac awkwardly standed there. Also, you're getting Forbidden Door next year, but then All In is coming back to Wembley in 2026. So,
yeah.
Tony's willing to give you a really good show every year. I hope you're happy.
Yeah, very. Hopefully that'll be awesome.
Yeah. Did Tony Khan come out after the show like last year, or did he not?
He did last year, he didn't this year.
He only came out before the show this year with Martha Hart. You know what's funny?
Yeah,
it's
very
like
much.
I've always found that interesting how like he always has to come out when Martha Hart's there. It's like he's her guide dog or something. It's very strange. But yes, I've talked a lot. You talk about that main event, whatever you haven't said yet.
Well, I've said a lot already, and I think it's just what a fucking match, what a story that was told. Absolutely the right winner. I think Swerve's had an amazing title reign. He looks amazing, and yeah, just what a moment! It was such a just surreal experience.
Yeah. And the show overall, I think it's a bit more mixed than some people let on. I think a lot of people loved the ending, and that's why they say that this is an amazing show. I think this is a show that has amazing moments, but it's, when you really break it down critically, it is a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? More good than bad, though.
Yeah.
I think last year's show was more consistent, but it didn't have, the highs weren't as high, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't have much more to say. Shall we sort of wrap it up a bit?
Yeah, that's just overall thoughts on the show, I guess. I thought this was a great show. He had a couple issues here and there, but overall, it was a pretty decent show. I don't know. I feel like I do prefer last year's All In just slightly.
Because it had CM Punk on it, and that's the only reason. You mark.
No. All In 2025. I promise it's not just because of Punk and Joe.
I remember last year, like, it was more consistent. It didn't have any matches as good as like Bryan Danielson versus Swerve, but it was a consistent show. And the only match that really didn't work was the women's match. The Fatal 4-Way was a bit off.
Yeah,
but it was a very, very good show.
Yeah, like Punk Joe was great. The trios match was fine. The tag team match between FTR and Young Bucks was better than the triple threat. Stadium Stampede was fun.
It was.
The women's 4-way wasn't that great. The coffin match was better last year than this year.
I loved the coffin match last year. I loved that match.
Ospreay Jericho was surprisingly quite good. And was better than obviously Jericho Hook. And then you had acclaimed House of Black was fine. It was more of a fun moment than a really good match. And then I really enjoyed MJF Adam Cole. So I feel like I do prefer last year's.
Last year had a better pre-show as well.
Yeah, better than You Baby. and then you had Hook, Jack Perry, which I actually think were better pre-show matches than this year. So I would say last year's actually was. I think I'm comfortable in saying that last year's was better as an overall show to this year. But the best match, I think it had 2 better matches. I think Will Ospreay, MGF, and the main event were the best. Are the best matches from these 2 shows.
And then up until the last like 60 seconds, the gauntlet match was also amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Although one thing I will say, I'm glad they did more women's matches this time. That was good to see. Also,
definitely.
Women's segments. They did. If you include the Saraya Jamie Hayter thing, they did 4 women's segments, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
But yeah, jolly good show.
Yeah.
So from this, you won the number 1 contendership, and then at Bash in Berlin, which
I got one result wrong on the whole show. I think I didn't have Christian winning.
Who could have predicted that?
the gauntlet match. Yeah. I had Hangman winning, which I think that, they decided not to do it, and they did it in the way they did. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the plans for All Out are the same as they are, and you have that gauntlet match take place the way it is, I mean, you'd have to have Jack Perry win it, which he's already in another match.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they're gonna have Christian versus the champion at Wrestle Dream? I don't know, or Grand Slam.
Not sure.
Who knows? Anyway, we will see you all very soon once I've made the thumbnail for our predictions for All Out, which happens tomorrow in about 12 hours from now. So yeah, I bid you adieu, a good night, and a goodbye for a bit. Bang.